impact in the game.
Give me a break, need another life. Oh, need another life, life. Give me a break, need another life.
Today's clash of the Premier League is a tale of two very different teams as title challengers come up against relegation battlers. Even with the added support for the neutrals for Everton to survive the drop in their final year at Goodison Park, this is undoubtedly going to be a tough one. But Arsenal can't afford any complacency here today. Well, for Everton fans, they'll have to wait just a little bit longer for their final game against Arsenal at Goodison Park. And right now, that might not seem like a bad idea if Arsenal's form changes by then. Because right now, they are red hot. They are still chasing Newcastle United and Manchester City in particular. But these players, no matter who is on the pitch, cannot stop scoring goals. It is going to be a very tough task for Everton this afternoon. Towards the bottom of the table, we hope they won't get relegated. We certainly hope not. But it is a very tight-knit fight at the bottom, or at least it's turning into that. Wolves have hit a bit of a stride recently. They've been bottom of the table for most of this season. They're starting to hit the stride a little bit. Manchester United, well, we don't really want to talk about them in relegation form, but right now, that's what they are in at the moment. Falling through the table, despite Ruben Almiron's persistence, United just continue to sink. But right here today, it's about the title fight as it continues. And for Mikel Arteta today, it's more youth being used. David Raya, of course, stays in goal, and it is a more traditional back four, but at the midfield is very young, with Miles Lewis-Skelly, and in particular, the very meteoric rise of Jack Henry Francis, who gets another start this afternoon. Jordan Pickford is the one thing that Everton will hope that can keep the goals down. Michael Keane in the centre of defence as well. But Neil Mumpai is actually preferred as the striker today. But beat David Raya is going to be no easy feat. The rest of the Arsenal side, I think it is more of a traditional back four. I think Saliba has been moved to the bench. Shinchenko is just sure they'll make a start. It's Odegaard with Lewis-Skelly and Jack Henry Francis. Front three, Gabriel Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus, and Bukayo Saka. That's going to be the kind of vocal point for Arsenal's goals today. And Mumpai's already having to try and get past this Arsenal formidable defence, and they kind of did. And David Raya makes a splendid double save to start the game. Oh, Sean Dyche, he's in the hot seat. His team is struggling. And there are increasing rumours that maybe David Moyes could be considered a replacement. I, for one, would certainly take that. But Sean Dyche is a very capable manager. He will turn it around if you give him a sniff of a chance to do so. It's just Everton, unfortunately, they've been kind of riddled with injuries. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, know him today, which is obviously one of their main vocal points up front. And here comes Gabriel Martinelli. The most improved player this season, it has to be said, with the amount of goals he's been banging in over the course of the year. No one could stop him either. And we said the meteoric rise of Jack Henry Francis, Gabriel Jesus. With a shot there, but he's wide. It has been a rise for Jack Henry Francis. He came from nowhere and scored against Manchester United. And now he gets another start today alongside Martin Odegaard, Captain Marvel, and Miles Lewis-Skelly in there as well. I think I might have said Martin before, which I apologise if I did. So it's going to be a busy afternoon for Jordan Pickford. Already he's had to think about that strike from, I think it was Jesus there. Now McNeil to Garner. And then McNeil again, sorry. What Mumpai do? He's pretty isolated back there. No real support for him, to be honest. Oh, Martin Odegaard. He didn't really pick out Bukayo Saka in the first place, but Bukayo Saka's persistence and he's forced Pickford into a save. He's gone down. And I think that would have been a very harsh penalty if that had been given. So a good decision by the referee and a good save for Jordan Pickford there. Saka could have so easily been able to put in the rebound there, but Pickford made himself big and strong. And it stopped Saka in his tracks. And Francis finds Zinchenko, as Zinchenko has played a beautiful ball to Martinelli, and now Martinelli is making waves down here. Here is Jack-Henry Francis again. He's gone down. Sure, it's a penalty. No, the referee does not give it. That is almost a clear-cut penalty. We've seen sending offs for a very similar challenge there. It'd be interesting to see if he got the ball. I don't think he did, the defender. But in any case, Arsenal press on. Here's Tomiyasu. Now he whips the ball in. It's right on a plate for Jesus almost, but he didn't catch it. Michael Keane was actually headed over to head away instead. The referee's blown the whistle for a free kick for Arsenal. Looks like Zinchenko is stepping up for this. I wonder if it's going to be another case of the Leo Golton technique, putting it in the opposite corner around the wall rather than going through it. It's proved very successful for her for one free kick this season. And actually, I think Odegaard is stepping up to take this. Let's see if he does do the Leo Golton trick. And he does, but the ball doesn't really have enough spin on it. And it's straight to the arms of Jordan Pickford. He'll be thankful for that. A very young and inexperienced Everton team right now. They've been kind of hit with the injury bug, so to speak. Of course, Bukayo Saka is the player to watch today. No Alexander Isak. Obviously, he played Atletico Madrid. And Mikel Arteta, he likes to use the load management strategy. But I think with someone like Isak, you probably want to start him every game you can. Especially with the form he's on right now. That was why I'm hoping for another clean sheet, and it comes soon. You'll see won the Golden Glove last season. And look at this Arsenal play. It is tremendous at times, isn't it? Martin Odegaard has beaten his man for pace. Tries to beat Modelenko with the cross, but he forces out for a corner. Well, look at this splendid double save from David Raya. It's almost expected of him at this point. He became number one at the start of the season, and once again, he's shown why. Arsenal have only failed to score once all season long so far, and that was against Bournemouth of all teams. With Skelly. Oh, Saka with a touch to Tomiyasu. The referee plays advantage. Tomiyasu decides to shoot, and Jordan Pickford performs a really good save. The referee is going to book Garner for that challenge. Well, it was full frontal. I don't think he was anywhere near the ball, just a Garner. I think it was more of a missed time than in any intent, and that's why he went into the book as opposed to a sending off. We've had to cover a lot of sendings off in these games this season. It's been rather comical at times, to be honest. This is picks Martin Lewis, Miles Lewis-Skelly. I'm going to try and get used to that. Odegaard with a brilliant looking ball, but Braithwaite is able to get there. Braithwaite, obviously, one of the targets supposedly for Manchester United earlier in the season, and maybe Arsenal as well. He still could go to Arsenal. Like we said, I believe Arsenal, with a month left to a transfer, we're no less than that. In fact, now we are in December. And the transfer window is approaching. I, for one, would prefer it, in all honesty, if it was one transfer window in the summer that ran until maybe the end of the season. The beginning of the season, rather. But, then again, I do understand it. You know, it is a chance for maybe weaker sides towards the bottom of the table to maybe strengthen to make a survival push, and we've seen it survival pushes with the likes of Portsmouth in the past. I don't think that was mostly through signings, it was mostly through Harry Redknapp at the time. But it can be an opportunity. Oh, that's a good save from Raya, and out comes McNeil with the ball back in. I don't think that's what he intended at all, but Everton do keep the ball, and Decore shoots, and Raya makes another good save. David Raya is in inspired form right now. Even when he doesn't keep a clean sheet, he keeps the goals down. And he's without his traditional back four today with Tomiyasu and Shinchenko. Well, Shinchenko's actually made his way into the starting lineup in recent times. Decore to the Mapai, and blocked out by Timber, and Mapai shoots again. That was a good first initial save there, I think, by Raya, or block out by Timber, actually. David Raya, as we said before, he and Declan Rice, two of the first brought in by Mikel Arteta, and they've been absolutely essential in this late push towards a title possibly for Arsenal in the last 2 seasons. They've just come up against the might of Manchester City in both occasions, but this time they're looking to overhaul them, and they've definitely got the players and squad to do it now, with Isak banging in the goals on a regular basis. And Arsenal are playing just pretty football. Well, this is a vital weekend for Newcastle as far as their title challenge is concerned, and I think it's Callum Wilson that has scored for them against Leicester, I think it was, and they're a goal up. So the title challenge is still on for Newcastle United, even though Arsenal did beat them recently. And Francis to Odegaard. And of course, next month we've got the start of the FA Cup. In the third round, we'll be back again for Manchester United and Arsenal again. And David Raya, he gathered the ball out. That was very well read by him, to be fair. Probably looked a little bit nervy there for a second. Oh God, he's picked out Saka. Martinelli has kept stride with him. He passes to Martinelli, and it's a beautiful goal. It's not Martinelli, it's Gabriel Jesus, but the result is the same. A goal for Arsenal of the most pretty and wonderful variety. Gabriel Jesus kept every stride with Bukayo Saka, and he put that in. And Jordan Pickford, even his greatness, well, probably not greatness, probably a bit too strong a word, but certainly a man of his talents, it's just not enough to deal with this Arsenal juggernaut when it comes to scoring. Arsenal 1, Everton 0. And Everton have it all to do now, because they might not have, Arsenal may not play Saliba at the moment, but they've got Gabriel out there. There's Kelly to Tomiyasu, and now Odegaard. Jesus dispossessed by Braithwaite. Odegaard. Jesus. Going to pick out youngster Jack Henry Francis. He picks out Martinelli. Gabriel Jesus has started running ahead of him. Martinelli puts the ball in, but it was towards Saka. Unfortunately for Arsenal, Everton were able to head away. Okay, covered by Gabriel. And Skelly not quick enough on the draw there to get out of that one. Garner's got to be careful, of course. He is on a yellow card. Oh, that was unfortunate. Because that looked like a delightful ball there for a second. Go out to Gabriel. Arsenal just playing out from the back, keeping the ball as much as they can. Timber. Great touch by Jesus, and now he is off at the races. He's got Braithwaite with him. He's waiting for support. It comes in the form of Martin Odegaard. He's going to pick out Saka. Saka's going to turn and shoot. And you're going to put your house on him scoring from there. Great explosions of pace by Bukayo Saka. It really leaves defenders in the dust. He's definitely not one of the fastest dribblers, Bukayo Saka, but when he can explode at pace, he has a great launching pad, as it were. Good interception there by McNeil. Now Mbappe is away here, because I think Yuri and Timber went a bit further ahead than he was probably supposed to. But Gabriel has more than covered for it. Shevchenko. Henry Francis to Martinelli. Martinelli trying to backheel back to Henry Francis, I think. Didn't come off there. That's handled by Gabriel. And if Arsenal do win silverware this season, it's going to be him, Isak, and Raya and Saka that'll probably be the main four. And Saliba to add a fifth as well. Maybe Martinelli the sixth, as he's been the most impressive kind of substitute of the year, as it were. It's not a man that's always on the team sheet, is what I mean. And there is Jorginho, I believe, who recently signed a one-year extension to his contract. Mikel Arteta wants to tie this squad down as much as he can. He's got a few contracts of lesser-known players like Butler and Janiri apparently running out. Mon Lewis could be as well. I think Reg has recently celebrated an extension to his contract because he's done very well this year. Arsenal's young core and their future, it's about their present and about their future right now, and both look incredibly bright with talents like Reg and Henry Francis to name a couple. And Martin Lewis-Skelly, a lot of hype being around him and Wanyeri in particular. He entered the 4 minutes of added on time, and Arsenal have been relatively comfortable. Everton have produced a couple of threats, but David Raya has been equal to every single one of them as usual. If they do manage to beat him, usually Arsenal are out of sight by then, but today it looks a bit tighter. Mbappe with the shot, and that made David Raya think a bit. Well, it's been a technique that a lot of teams have used this season, shoot from outside the box. And that one almost paid off. I think Braithwaite got to that one. Now Mbappe could charge forward here. But again, he's very isolated. Everton have not got their strongest 11 out there, that's for sure. Obviously they lost Richarlison to Spurs. Here comes Martin Odegaard. And here comes Jesus to make it 2. He picks out Martinelli, who picks out Henry Francis, who goes into the box. And Jordan Pickford does a great save. But the run from Henry Francis was sensational. He was carving through butter with a knife there. Beautiful stuff. This Henry Francis kid is definitely someone to watch. He scored against Manchester United. That'll be a memory he keeps forever, no matter what happens to him in his future. Saka brings it up, but that is the half-time whistle. And it's a lot closer than it normally has been for Arsenal this season, but they have been in the majority command of this game. Gabriel Jesus with the goal, and David Raya with some stunning saves right at the start of the game. And Arsenal, they don't have the scoring, but they are in control and up by a goal to 0. Welcome to the Emirates Stadium for the second half. Arsenal, title contenders, still chasing Manchester City, who are still unbeaten for the season. But here today, Arsenal are up by a goal to 0. It's not been the goal flourish that we've had in recent games. Arsenal will take 3 points however they can get them. And if they do need to turn up a gear, we know they can. Saka finds Odegaard already. Molenko equal to that. a beautiful looking ball. Now, he's going to get there. Yes, he is, but he's offside. That's unfortunate. The Corey, it's a great looking ball, but Lindstrom is offside. Here's Gabriel. And Henry Francis. Look at Jesus and all the space he's got. He's in the box. And Everton fell asleep on him. And that reaction says it all. Open to Braithwaite. Well, next for Arsenal will be a North London derby. I believe it is in the Carabao Cup. Quarter-finals, I believe that is. Back at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Martinelli with the ball in. Here's Tomiyasu. Look again, the space for Jack Henry Francis to run into, and he's going to run into it all right. Oh, he's going to score a belter. It's that man again. Jack Henry Francis has scored another. And once again, it's a mazy run. Well, the kid cuts through defenses like knives through butter. Look at this move. Absolute tremendous stuff. And what a great goal. The kid is having a whale of a time. Look at that move. Brilliantly cut through. And a good shot to boot. Will we remember the name Jack Henry Francis in the future? Well, he's certainly had a bit of a rise, hasn't he? Arsenal up by 2-0. And their present is rosy. And it looks like their future might be too. Oh. If you were to ask me right now, I think Arsenal probably have one of the best young squads in the league right now. A bit of the Sir Alex Ferguson playbook from many years ago. Looks like Arteta believes in it. And they've also got Rek and Wanyeri and Lewis Skelly. And Ron Lewis has had a couple of the good games as well. Idrissa Gane, who's been in the books since the beginning of the game. And an old buddy of mine, James Garner, coming on. And I, for one, am pretty gutted that he didn't make it at United. But I think Ollie's sacking had a lot to do with it. Because Ollie believed in him. And, well... They all used to say, under any other manager, with the squad that Ollie had, United would win the title. Now look where they are. It couldn't have been a more wrong assessment. And James Garner was one of the most unlucky ones. Here's Mumpai with a shot. And, well, I did pick Arsenal to cover this season, rather to avoid bias, to be honest. I have mentioned them a lot, though. Gary Neville does it too, I guess. And as well we should. It was our home for a long time. Lewis Skelly doing actually really well there. And he got the ball back as well. Here's Garner. Well, next for Everton will be the visit of Chelsea, rather. Before the Christmas break, of course. Henry Francis to Gabriel. And Gabriel making an amazing run here. Everton asleep. Jesus. Henry Francis did not see that ball coming. If he had done, he probably would have been away. Something he'll learn with time. Here he is again. Martinelli. Bursts into the box. And it's going to be a corner. Now by Braithwaite. And Mapai is now going off. And the end day, I think, is coming on there. And there's another former Manchester United teammate at the back there, Michael Keane. Yede. Tackled by Lewis Skelly, I think. Gabriel puts it clear. David Wright. Very close to a clean sheet right now, although we haven't put a curse on him. And he's blocked out by Gabriel. And we have a few substitutions being made. A triple one by Arteta as Gabriel is making way for Calvori. It's Declan Rice that will be coming on for Martin Odegaard. And Leo Trossard has come on for Bukayo Saka. And I was about to say before we that Arsenal have this very interesting way of playing the game where they get into a comfortable position in terms of goals, but then turn the intensity up on defense. And that is why the goals have been kept to a minimum. Gabriel Jesus with a shot, but Pickford watches that one go wide. It's a great ball there by Trossard. And now we're in the load management phase for Mikel Arteta now. Odegaard and Saka both off. No sign of Isak coming on anytime soon. And if this strategy works out for Mikel Arteta, it'll be labelled a genius. And right now, I wouldn't really bet against this working. He's done a fantastic job. And he has the young players to kind of bring in if he needs them as well. Yasu trying to get by Garner, but didn't do so. Here's McNeil. Here's Niede. Niede's gone past Calavori, but the shot is straight at Riot. Jesus doing brilliantly well to bring that one down. Now Miles Lewis Skelly finds Rice. And Rice is tackled. And the referee. And Rice has gone down again. And the referee has finally pulled him back with a free kick. Indra Guburum has been struggling, we're hearing. So we'll try and run it off. No sign of Sean Dyche going to the bench to bring him off for the moment. So what a beautiful ball. And it didn't end up at Trossard, but it almost bounced through for Jesus. He probably would have scored from that. Ian Timber does brilliantly, but he is a lot more further forward than he would be usually. But now Trossard is gone, and Jesus is kept with him. And Leo Trossard, he ran out of space, to be honest. There's James Garner, now McNeil. Mivolenko. McNeil. Some coming forward here. And the Niede, saved by Riot. Calvori moves it up. Jack Henry Francis, that's not something he'll be proud of, and David Raya has to come out and gather that one. Well, Jack Henry Francis was a lot smaller than, I think it was Decore behind him, and that proved to be a ball-winning situation there. So now the Shinchenko realises how far forward he is. He's not needed, so he runs back. Martinelli will find Jesus. It's straight at Pickford. And Movalenko clears away. Skelly, not the best hit pass in the world, but it did find Trossard. And then Declan Rice was the man that gave it away instead. 8-8. Liverpool 2, Fulham 1 is the score at Anfield. Doesn't really mean much in terms of the title race, but Erne Slot is challenging for the Champions League spots. Well, one of them anyway, because the top 3 and 4 have broken away from the rest of the pack, and that's Gabriel Jesus with a second, and Arsenal with a third, and that is game over. Another great goal by Arsenal, but once again, I think Everton's defence was asleep. Gabriel Jesus had a lot more space to run into. He just ran into it. And sometimes they just give it to Arsenal, don't they? They've not really had to work hard for a lot of their goals this year. And that's a great touch by Jesus, to be fair, to run into space. And there has been some small speculation about the future of Gabriel Jesus and whether he'll be, whether he could be sold for Mikel Arteta to get maybe a couple more players in the January window to comply with the PSR rules. That could definitely work. But Arsenal don't really want to sell their strikers if they can help it. Of course, they got Isak bagging in the goals. Trossard can play there, as we know. So, if they do let go of Jesus, who does Arteta have planned if they do? I mean, I would trust every move Arteta's making right now if it was me. I think that's Jack Harrison coming on for Lundstrom here. I would give Arteta whatever he needs to make this title happen, because this one's important. You know, they finished second to City both times. And Arteta's definitely been listened to by the board so far this year, and they got their just reward. But City are unbeaten for the year at the moment. And that's Arsenal's really their only problem. Maybe a couple of rotational players wouldn't go amiss, as I reported earlier this season. Maybe another defender just to cover. Maybe another striker, a lesser known one maybe, or a rotational one that won't really rock the boat. Of course, in the January window, whatever does happen, cup ties will be a rule. So obviously, say, I don't know, Sporting Lisbon, and Almiron buys someone like Gyökeres, he'll be cup tied in the Champions League. Now, Manchester United aren't in the Champions League, so I think Gyökeres would actually be able to play in the Europa League under those circumstances. You do have to think about that as well when it comes to January reinforcements. But as Alexander Isak, Moreno and Sterling have all proved, even though Sterling is on loan, anyone could fit into this Arsenal system. And don't forget, Neto, for Roberto Neto, it'll free up a loan slot and maybe a bit of cash as well if Roberto Neto is recalled by Bournemouth. And Declan Rice to Jesus, and Jordan Pickford is making some great saves. Declan Rice is sticking with it. Martinelli's come up and off the post, and Arsenal just continue to want to score goals. But yes, we are hearing that maybe Bournemouth will recall Roberto Neto from his loan, which would be very, very unfortunate. But that would open the door for Daniel Jennings, who has done very well in the academy side of things for Arsenal lately. So we'll keep an eye on that. And that would certainly free up some money and the loan slot if Arsenal want to loan anybody for the rest of the year. They do have Sterling on loan from Chelsea, of course. But there's no word from them about bringing him back. And Sterling was the one that really pushed for the move out of Stamford Bridge in the first place. Here is Trossard to Declan Rice. And that is wide as well. Well, Declan Rice has scored this season. He was one of those that we expected to get at least a goal or two, and he hadn't had one for so long, but now he does, I believe. And it's going to be a 3-0 win for Arsenal and a clean sheet for David Raya, which I believe puts him on 10 for the season. I could be wrong though, but I think he's nearing it. And I think he got the Golden Glove last season with 16 or 17. So he's well on course to get it now. Jack-Henry Francis is putting the ball in here. And John Bieber gathers it. Well, it's not the scoring route that Arsenal would have wanted, but 3-0 is more than enough for the 3 points for Mikel Arteta. It was a game that probably he was expected to win given the table, but Arsenal makes sure of it. Another goal for youngster Jack-Henry Francis this evening. And Gabriel Jesus got 2 as well. Arsenal were pretty much in command from minute 1 after David Raya's great double save at the beginning. And they never looked back. Arsenal 3, Everton 0. And let's take a look at all the other scores this weekend and what that means for the table in a vital Manchester derby. Manchester City 1, United 2, United 1. Chelsea 1, Brentford 1, Arsenal 3, Everton 0 as we watched. Liverpool 2, Fulham 1, Wolves 1, Ipswich 1, Newcastle United 2, Leicester City 0, which means they keep pace with Arsenal and City in front of them at the top of the table. Nottingham Forest 0, Aston Villa 2, and I believe one of the final scores was Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 0. We've got some more coming in. Southampton 0, Spurs 2, as Spurs continue to have their stronghold on 4th position ahead of Liverpool. So what that means for the table is Manchester City still lead by a point ahead of Arsenal, and then Newcastle a further 2 points back, who are 8 points clear of Spurs, who are then 4 points clear of Liverpool. Brentford doing absolutely splendid stuff in 6th place ahead of Chelsea. Aston Villa starting to get a bit of a foothold after a bit of a slow start. Back ahead of Bournemouth in 8th and 9th respectively. Brighton 10th. Manchester United just continuing to sink, really, now in 11th place, but clear of West Ham and Leicester City behind them. Fulham are 14th, and it's a very close packed midfield. From West Ham to Nottingham Forest, there's only 4 points or 6 points separating them. Everton are in a bit of a relegation scrap now with that loss. Ipswich level on points, but ahead of them on goal difference. Then we got Palace, Wolves, and finally Southampton. And of course, that is the relegation zone for now. Wolves starting to get a foothold here, though.